Karibuni. No, the fact that mnajaribu kuwa a bit timid and I know how you guys ride your bikes. So karibia tu microphone. Ile kelele unapigaga that time when you're doing that kawili. Hiyo ndo tunataka. So welcome to SportyFM, gentlemen. So first thing is first, and we'll start to our far right there. Motorsport in Kenya.
Yes.
Not many people talk about it, and it hasn't gotten that coverage, like for example the likes of football, rugby, like I mentioned earlier, the Safari Rally, or even all these guys who are doing time trial races. Sometimes if you go to Masinga, you'll get them right there. But in terms of the motocross, not many people are talking about it. So motocross in Kenya, how did that start and how has it evolved?
Well, motocross in Kenya has been around for a long time. Not just motocross, but generally motorsport.
Yes.
Motocross started in Kenya in 1956.
1956?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been around that long. Basically, working at different arenas in Nairobi, even in Nakuru. There were basically many legends.
Right.
And over the years, it has persisted, even though the crowds were a bit small. But we are seeing the sport growing. Right now, we are mostly operating from within Nairobi at Jamhuri Park.
Jamhuri Park, yes.
Yes, and that's where we hold our events. That's where we do most of our training. That's where my children stay riding from, for example.
Okay.
And since my kids started, I'll tell you in my own recent history, we've had races in Uganda, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe. We've been to Morocco. Last year we were in Morocco. And we continue to grow the sport, and we want to expose the sport to many people, because people who actually come and see the sport want to come back another time to watch. So we want to actually get it out there. It's quite busy, exciting, adrenaline driven, but also very exciting for the kids. It's, seeing a very small child, 5 years old, riding a motorbike is something very exciting.
It's very exciting right there. I mean, there's so many times that where I live, there's so many times that whenever I'm leaving home, especially over the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, you'll always see a car with a trailer carrying at least 2 to 3 bikes, very much. And every time I've asked one of my neighbor, munenda happy, Joe, it's Jamhuri bana. Pale Jamhuri pa kuja to race huko. Nikaambia za mimi am on 4s. Nimetaka nitoke from 4s to 2s bana. But again, like you've said, the kids are quite excited. You'll even see in the morning when wanafungiwa bikes kwa hizo career zao hapo kwa trailer. Namuona ako hapo wana make sure bike yake imefungwa vizuri right there. But yeah, so we have talked about the evolving of motocross in Kenya. Now, my issue is towards the infrastructure and the public interest. How has that been made quite evident here in Kenya, and more importantly, across other counties, not only in Nairobi? Because Nairobi, you'll see guys wakienda hapo Jamhuri, manze racing nini. We have seen we have even seen it on TV. But now, in terms of the infrastructure and the expansion, how's that going on?
Yeah, I think we've tried, and the bodies that are in charge of motocross, in terms of the federation. It's called MSFK, Motorsports Federation of Kenya. They are charged with the duty to make sure that the sport expands. Well, from a club level, from a club perspective, we have a track in Jamhuri, which has been there over time. In fact, just to delve back on what my colleague has said, this is a track that has moved from it was in Carnival from those 1956 he's talking about. Then it came to where the current deputy president's house is. Then now to Jamhuri. And we've seen pockets of a few tracks in Nairobi. There was one that is that was around Karen, and then
Loresho.
There's another track in Loresho. But basically, in terms of moving outside Nairobi, There's a track in Naivasha at Matios. This Matios Hotel, which has a bit of a big track that can do an event. And then Mombasa, there is a track, Vipingo track, that is owned by where the Centum properties are, in that side of Kilifi. So it's about people knowing where this sport is, and a bit of a publicity what we are doing now,
right?
And is to come and see. That is what grows the sport. You know, when we are many, we have a club that has like 100 riders now.
100 riders,
yes,
from different ages.
Yeah, from different ages. They start from as young as 3, and we have a veteran who is 60. So ideally, it's quite expansive. And then of course there's the element of enduro. Enduro is almost like bushland, so you don't need a track as such.
Right.
So you just go and try make a track in the in the bush.
Bushes.
Yeah. So there is Rukenya, there's Soisambu. Yeah, and then Keraita. So ideally on the enduro part of it, which is a bit of like bush riding. Yes, there we have many places now in Kenya, over 10 places. Motocross itself, which is in a controlled track and which is governed by the rules of FIM. I heard you say FIA in terms of
now.
Yes.
Yamagari.
Yeah. But now motocross is governed by FIM. FIM Africa, and there is now the FIM Global.
Brilliant.
There's something I want to know, because your child, you said, participated and does the motocross. How do you identify someone like me mwenye niko na nduthi? How do you now identify and convert normal and regulars and people who just come to watch for the sake of the fun of it? Because mi najua Jamu nikiendaga past Kibira hivi nikikuja kwenda Ngong Road, I see the track. How then do you convert me, a regular and a normal person, into a motocross athlete? And
to joining the club, more importantly.
Yeah, no, that's a very interesting question. So I'll give you our own story.
Yeah.
Our own story is that at one point in time I was talking to a friend and I'm saying I'm looking for an activity for my son. And he says, come, I'm going to take you somewhere. So he took us at Jamhuri, and there was a training, a trainer actually. They had bikes, they had gear, they had everything. And so he paid for the first lesson, actually the first 3 lessons. And my son just caught the bug like from day one. He didn't even know how to cycle. So it comes from personal interest, first of all. Yeah? Right. I think the most important thing that we need to do is provide the exposure.
Yes.
That there's actually an opportunity for you to come and learn how to ride a motorbike. Yeah. And you talk about Nduthi, for example. If you look at how motocross riders ride their bikes, it's completely different from how Nduthi rider does. So don't imagine that because you ride Nduthi, you can actually come and ride on the track. No.
That is a completely different game.
Completely different. Most of the time, motocross rider, for example, is standing. You know, there's a way they stand, there's a way they have their elbows out.
Yes.
Even their feet, you know, they have to toe in. You don't have your feet just like duck feet. We call them duck feet.
Wow.
So there is a bit of training that goes into this. You don't basically just come, but I think it's really about exposure and personal interest. So our job now is to expose the sport to people.
Yes.
And then when people come and see it and they try, chances are they will get to enjoy it, and then they can get converted.
But also something that I've noticed is you've talked about the difference between the normal Nduthi and motocross as a sport.
Yep.
You as a club, what are you doing differently? Because some of these bikes, the equipments, the protective gears are not sick to your 1,100 yenye nitaenda nipate hapa nje. How are you making and trying to make it accessible, even to me, as a regular, as a normal person, to try and come and try out this sport? Because as we look from outside inward, tunaona it's a very expensive sport.
Not really. In fact, like he's mentioned, you find there are trainers.
Yes.
We have 2-3 trainers who have their own equipment. They have the bikes, they have the gear, they have the helmets. So it's just they need to come, show up, and then if your child or even yourself, because it goes all the way. We even have riders who are veterans. So you just show up. They will kit you. They will give you those basic lessons. to, of course, the basic lessons will not be jumping into a bike day one. Yeah. You might have to do a bit of star jumps.
People are excited, man. Umwambia kuja afanye star jump kwanza.
No, it's like when you do when you go for driving, you must go to the table first. You are taught how to overtake and all that. Yeah, I mean, they have to give you the basic theory lessons first.
So even for a duty rider, anze kutoka beginning.
Exactly. They are akuje aambiwe you have to teach your do these skills and here you don't do the way you see them winding over traffic and all that. It's a controlled sport, so that you are told even when you get to a jump and you see they jump very high. I mean, you have to be taught how to jump, otherwise you are on the hair. You need to know how you are going to run, otherwise you'll crash.
So true.
Yes, Boda guys don't do jumps. They don't so
Boda guys wanajua kuhepa jump, lakini kujump hapana,
lakini kuruka hawawezi ruka. It's not possible.
I like that. You know what? 0733222105. It's very refreshing to hear this. Now we'll just go on a small break, but don't worry, we're still having the conversation right here on motocross. Sawasawa, we have Daniel Muridhi right here and also Herbert Atanga, and they're representing the Enduro and Motocross Sports Club, and they'll tell you even later on when we come back how you can join the club, how you can learn, like we've talked about. Boys, watu wetu wanduthi ni kuruka, so kuhepa is a very big difference. When we come back, more motocross, more sports.
SportyFM.
Hold on. And we are back. This is the kickoff.
Nimeona vile umeanza.
Yeah, so with our guests in studio, we have we do 2 shows. So 6 to 10 a.m. we do the kickoff on SportyFM. Then over the weekend we do the Sporty warm up. So mkisikia nime confused, pia mimi nimeruka in my own head. But this is a Sporty warm up right here on SportyFM. My name is Joe Saina,
and you're joined by Hesbon Nyamari, aka the King of Saturday Sports,
and 2 absolute legends right here telling me that Joe, ile nduthi yako weka kando, lazima tuanze classes again from here. Let them know who you are. Nikikuintroduce sana wanashangaa Joe kwani hawezi sema jina yao.
Yeah, true. My name is Daniel Muredhi.
Yes.
I'm the vice chair of Enduro and Motocross Sports Club. And we've just actually rebranded just to conform to the Sports Act. Initially, we were called East African Motocross Sports Club. And you see, with the coming of the Sports Act, all clubs that were registered as societies were to really meant to conform and be a proper sports club that are governed by the sports registrar. So on the 6th of September, we actually rebranded again, but still maintained the acronym EMSC, which is the name that we had previously. Yeah, so that's about me.
All right, then. And next to you, the long gentleman. He's not tall, he's long. Unaona tukipigwa picture. Anaendelea kwenda bana. Stop.
No, there are those who are much taller than me. That's
then it's okay. Tutabaki tu na wewe tafadhali.
Yeah, so my name is Herbert Hatanga, and I'm responsible for PR and marketing at Enduro and Motorsport Club. And I'm a parent of 2 riders.
Right.
Yeah, a boy and a girl.
How did you come up with the word enduro, first of all? Let's start from you.
I will actually pass it on to the vice chairman because he's involved in crafting of that conversation.
Pia kuna protocol, all protocols observed.
Absolutely. Even here.
It's good you passed it back to me.
Yes.
In my day to day, I of course I'm a lawyer, so I am able to pick things that are statute based in terms of law. So when we got a club, East Africa Motocross Sports Club. It was meant to cover almost the entire of East Africa. Then, So with the coming of the registration, we were to now shrink, become a private sports club. But then it's a name with very rich history. All our, former chairpersons, former riders associate with the EMSC, East Africa.
The acronym.
The acronym, yes. And then you realize we are to maintain it in a certain way. Motocross is a sport called Enduro. Enduro is the sort of like the bush ride that is controlled, and then motocross. So we are to put the 2 names, Enduro and motocross. Because it is the 2 disciplines. And in a very clever way trying to maintain EMSC, so that we still are able to have the history of the club from 1956. Otherwise, you don't start afresh and then you throw away the history that the club had and the people who had the vision. Because generally, these guys would even put their own resources into it.
From 1956,
yes,
You've maintained the club because it has a rich legacy in Kenya. And even when you go abroad, East Africa, you have a strong legacy. How are you guys still remaining focused to that one goal? Because you as the management running the club now as a private club, how are you successfully doing it? Because you have seen it in other sports like football. It's wrangles all over. How are you guys maintaining that focus?
That's very interesting. So we have got a very strong membership. First of all, it starts with transparency. The leadership has to be very transparent with its members. And for every year, of course, we do have an AGM. But besides the AGM, we have immediate engagement with the parents all of the time. But what's even more interesting is that everyone who is working, or at least a member of the club leadership, is also a parent. So that parent can identify with the challenges of motocross on a day-to-day basis. They understand exactly what the other parents are talking about. So because of that, it has actually kept us together. To give you examples of this, if I am going to ride, we are going to have a race, and my son's bike has a problem, maybe the carburetor has an issue, it is very easy for me to go to Daniel and say, by the way, Daniel, if you have a carburetor, please give us a carburetor, and he will give us a carburetor. Never mind that my son and his son are fierce competitors, right? Yeah. So there is an element of just, it's like a family, it's a community. We are all fighting for the same cause, and because of that, we're able to share these ideas. When we plan, for example, to go to Uganda, there's a discussion, there's a process around that, and we will know exactly who is going, how we're going to represent each other. Sometimes we even have parents handing their children over to other parents. You will take responsibility of this child. So that's how we're trying to keep this thing going. Family, union, community, those are sort of like the key values that we try to maintain.
There's something also you have mentioned, Joe Kidogo. You have mentioned a lot about parents and kids. Is the game more involved with kids?
Yes, you would say it's a family sport. So we do have the majority of the riders are really from the youngest age 3 up to about 17 years. All those are minors. They are children, right? When they turn 18, they are who they are, and we do have that category of riders as much. But the majority of the riding community, at least in motocross today, we want, of course, to grow it. Is basically parents and riders. That is the biggest composition of the membership, and we think that's where it all comes from to grow eventually. But we still do have many former riders still coming back to ride. Of course, they have to deal with life, marriage, work, school, all manner of things, but generally they still do come back and support the sport. If they are not riding, they are training. If they are not training, they are working. There is always something that they're going to do for the sport.
There's always something that they're going to do for the sport. 0733 222 105. That's our WhatsApp number. Also, you can call us through 0748 999 111. If you have a question to do with motocross, we have the right gentleman in studio. Now, there's us competing locally, Sasawa, and then there's us competing worldwide, continentally, worldwide. Team Kenya in terms of motocross. How involved are you guys as a club? And how is the progress that you have seen in the recent years in terms of the team that is representing Kenya in terms of motocross?
Yeah, I think over the years, it's been driven by parents. Of course, as Team Kenya, the federation will put all the resource out there for parents to pick. The federation will, because it's the one that brags to FIM Africa and FIM Global, they will put the information out there for people to register. They license them. They will clear you to go and participate. But parents will put in their money. But until recently, I think last year, government came in a big way. The motocross of African nations that was in Morocco, government came and sponsored 14. Actually, it was 17 riders. 17 riders, and this was a very big sponsorship because it was air freighting the bikes from Nairobi to Morocco, and the tickets for the minors. And then you have to chaperone them. They have to have a team manager. They have to have a trainer. And these are young children who you need to get consent from their parents and all that. So government, we've seen them come in last year. This year, we were very hopeful that we would see government. The motocross of African nations was meant to be held in Kenya. But then again, what you asked about Langos, the federation in its own way, and without, I need to give a reminder to this because there is a matter before the sports tribunal.
Right. As a lawmaker,
yes. There
are things just to be silent about.
And it's pending determination.
Correct.
So I could only mention that the event was to be in Kenya.
Okay.
But then the club, and these are children, we needed a few plans put in place for us to take them to Vipingo because that was the proposed venue. But then a bit of pull and push, a bit of a court process to challenge that decision. So it was not held in Kenya. It was taken to Zimbabwe. A few of our Kenyan riders attended. We had 2 who were still sponsored by government because the federation required us to do a few events, 1 or 2 national races. And you see, when those Rangos came, of course, the club could not participate. But the 2 riders who participated were sponsored by government to go to Zimbabwe. And, of course, Kenya, from 17 riders last year to 2 riders. Again, those are the small challenges that we would hope the sport would be resilient to. And the matter before the tribunal will actually be able to determine a few of these things, possibly towards the end of the year.
Possibly towards the end of the year. Now,
just to add on to Daniel's point.
Yes.
So, in terms of participation, we've actually participated almost every year, literally every year, in the motocross of African nations, and it happens in various countries. I think our first one was 2022, because remember this was right off the bat of COVID. There were so many protocols, so many things didn't happen. But 2022, I think we took nearly 30 riders to Uganda. And all of them were actually from our club.
Yes.
2023 we went to South Africa, and we had nearly about over 20 riders. Yes. That we took to South Africa. And then of course Morocco came, and we had 17 riders. So we do participate quite a lot, and all the riders in those 3 years I've mentioned have predominantly come from our club.
From the club.
So if you ask about the contribution of our club to the sport,
we
really actually compromise for those 3 years 100% of Kenya's team Kenya's sport. But look, at the end of the day, we are also interested in building the community.
Right.
We want to make sure that other clubs, are also coming to our level. We help, and many times actually we will go and officiate at events hosted by other clubs.
Right.
And the idea being that we are trying to make sure that we support building capacity. Sometimes it will be our marshals, even to small things as flags, and certain tools. So we are really here to build a community. We think that club versus club is not the thing. It is actually, the more clubs we have, the better for the sport.
It's better for the sport. Now, you being a club and obviously being competitive not only locally but internationally. Now, how do you scout for raw talent for the club?
Yeah, because to tie it up with Joe, because I was asking you, because when I was young, tukiwa high school and primary, there used to be cricket officials from the federation were coming to school. Football, tulikuwa tunajua predominantly it's what children play. How then do you enroll these new kids? Do you have like outreach programs like I was asking off air?
Yeah. No, thanks. So we don't have a formal program to enroll riders, and part of the reason, and this is something that we are trying to address, all these things require resources. As it is today, this club is basically self-sponsored. It is the parents who put money into this sport, right? If you ask me, when I was joining this sport, we didn't have a bike, but the parent that brought me to the sport, the first bike we got came from him. and I took my time paying him, and I have done a similar thing for others, and you find almost every other parent doing this kind of thing. From bike to gear to everything, right? So everything that is happening is within the parents. It's self-financed, self-funded. But we now want to take a step away from that. We want to be able to build the right structures so that we have the right accountabilities and we have the right budgets, whether it's from government or sponsors or whatever, that could actually enable us to reach out and find raw talent, that is actually sponsored by the club, not by a parent. And we have tried this experiment before, where we found 2 riders, and they were actually very good riders, but we realized the budget was massive. You must make sure there is medical cover, very good medical cover, so that in case there is an injury, they are well taken care of, and obviously the gear, the equipment, picking up the bikes and all manner of things. But we are working now on the right structures to make sure that we actually do have a budget. If we can set a target of say 2-3 riders within the first year, and then scout for this raw talent, it's very, very possible. So we do have plans to actually engage in this.
Okay, there are plans to engage in this. Now, Daniel, from now the leadership perspective into the community outreach. You know, whenever we hear about sports and clubs in particular, we always ask, how does the community benefit from the club? How does the community around you, the awareness, the nini? So in terms of the club itself and the fact that both of you have represented the club here today in studio, how do you reach out into the community, and what are some of these things that you guys do towards the community that the community can see, you know what, at the end of it, it's only about motocross, it's about the greater good of humanity?
Yeah, I think within the club and starting last year or the year before,
correct,
we sometimes have like a tree planting day, where we call the riders, their parents, and the community around us,
yes,
to come and help in the exercise. Mostly like these exercises that are driven by government, when it's tree planting day, yes. Yeah, we all come out, and then of course most of our children again we have a day that people bring their donations, and we encourage that the donations are either food, not the way we would predominantly donate owned clothes, no, clothes that are yes, almost at new status,
in a good
condition. Yeah. And you know, our neighborhood is Kibera. We
yes,
actually neighbor Kibera.
Yes.
So we have to also again live with them as one community.
Correct.
Where one community is seen to have, afford all these big bikes and, make all this noise around the area. But then again, even when we have events, we have a free zone where they just come for free, and watch. And with their bodas, so that now they see how do we convert ourselves from this boda person.
Thank you, you've called him out.
Yeah, yes.
You're telling me I ditch my boda kabisa?
No, akuje nayo kesho.
Kesho amesema about they have a free zone.
Yes.
Kesho kuna mimi na watu wangu wa boda.
Yes.
There's something happening tomorrow pale Jamhuri. Something big.
Yes.
It's big na staki kuiongelea. I want you to tell us what's happening tomorrow pale Jamhuri.
Yeah, how about you can go on this?
So tomorrow we have the final race of our club championship. It is, we call it Moto 6. Moto 6. Yes, Moto 6. It is the last event of the year. It's basically the one that will determine who the champion in every category will be. We have about 5 categories of riders: 50cc, 65cc, 85, 125, and veterans. Maybe one
MX1
rider.
Yeah.
So all these will do 3 hits. So that is basically a whole day event starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, up to around 4 p.m. and prize giving at 4:30. On top of that, since we are talking about Nduvis,
relax.
This event will be graced by TVS and Car in General. TVS recently, by the way, if you don't know, TVS, I know in Kenya we only know it for Nduvis, but TVS has what they call TVS racing. They actually do street racing bikes and normal racing bikes, like the ones you'd see chaps like Valentino Rossi ride.
MotoGP.
Yes, and they participate in this area. They also have motocross bikes. They and then other kinds of bikes. Tomorrow they will be unveiling one of their street racing bikes at the track. So it will be nice for people to see. You want to upgrade from your Nduthi to a street racing bike? Yeah, please come and see this.
and that will be a quick upgrade for you. You'll be quickly able to come from your Nduthi to the new bike they are unveiling tomorrow. And then you can quickly convert to motocross.
There is a friend of mine ananiuliza, I will not be participating. I'm not a rider, of course. I'm not licensed and all that. Can I come? Can I make my way just as a regular fan, just to watch?
Absolutely.
Do we have what do we say in football? Tunakuagana, it's even in rugby, a fun event, not only about for the fanatics, even for those people kama sisi watu Nduthi.
Yep. So basically, when you come, you'll pay your 400 shillings if you're an adult, And then you get in there, there will be entertainment, there will be food. We do play a bit of music here and there.
Good.
There are games for children, at least VR. We do have those activities. And kids will always find stuff to do. But most importantly, you come ready to try and learn how to ride a bike.
That is the most important thing.
That's the
Right there.
Yeah.
So, you know what, gentlemen, asanteni sana for coming through.
Yeah.
I mean, we in terms of, you've had the event tomorrow, Pale Jamhuri, starting from 8 a.m. all the way to about 4:30 p.m. right there. There will be hits from different categories. You said 55cc, 50cc,
65, 85, 125, MX1, and veterans. Yeah.
And veterans.
Yes.
Right there. So it is an action packed Sunday. Not only that, like Hesbon has asked, you can bring your family, bring your friends. There are other things that you can do right there. It will be what we call an all family event. And like Herbert had said, and also Daniel has really drilled, come and learn how to go about with a motorbike, motorbike in terms of motocross, and learn it. It is different from what we do. Very different. Very different.
I'll change my ways after tomorrow.
But just a parting shot. I think sport generally builds character.
Correct.
I have been around this sport for nearly 8 years now. I found riders, who are still on like 65, 85. Now they are men. All the guys I saw that time are still very straight and upright.
Right.
And I really bring it down to what I saw them do at the sport.
Yes.
It teaches you a lot of discipline, because if you mess up, your life is in real danger.
Oh yeah.
So you have to follow instructions.
What he's trying to tell you is these children at the age of say 5-10 years, they are riding a bike that gets to a speed of 80 kilometers per hour.
At the age of 4-5.
So calculating how to go into a corner on that speed, and after 7 years, it's a manual bike. It is a 6-speed bike. So they have to gear down quickly, like driving a manual car. You have to gear down very quickly. Then gear up to gain speed. As you are gaining speed, you get into a corner, you have to gear down. As you get into a jump. So these children get proper perspective, even life balance in school. They are able to concentrate. They are able to know what is coming, and the ones I have seen, like there's a one who trains my boy. He is a former rider. The guy is now 26. He's working, but he still comes to train. He's a graduate. He's done many things. You are able to tell. It can get them from that patch of where we say these children now are into drugs and all that. It quickly get them off that, because from the age of 10 they are engaged up to around when they are 22, and 22 somebody has already cleared campus.
Kabisa.
So now they are now they can make their own decisions as to whether do I take alcohol, do I
ride. And obviously we do not encourage drinking and riding, drinking and driving, any form of intoxication that can hamper your decision making on any machinery. We do not acknowledge at all that. We actually put that aside, and it is harmful to your health. And I like the fact that you brought it up, because if you start riding from 3 years old and you get to 22, there is discipline.
Absolutely.
There is fitness, physical fitness. Like you've said, you have so many veteran riders who are still upright. Gongo equal. Straight. So there's discipline, there's physical fitness, there's mental strength and peace. Many people talk about the physical side of it. They don't talk about how sports engages your mental state, whereby it makes you think clearer. I mean, for example, if you are a person who likes to go to the gym, if you're a person who likes motocrossing, I have a couple of friends of mine who it's always off-road driving. Weekend akikosa kupanda maybe Ngong Hills, maybe akosa kwenda pale Mount Kenya, maybe pale Rift Valley, askia kopoa. And it's not even about racing for them. It's about the mental clarity. And this is what also motocross can be. So gentlemen, asanteni sana, EAMSC. You know it. The tongue rolls out. East African motocross. But it is enduro and motocross
sports club. Yeah,
bro. See, you're a lawman. See, chini ya maji hiyo East African. It sounds so well, but it makes sense.
Yes. The road doesn't allow.
Yes.
And possibly my other passing shot for Hesbon is I'm also a road biker. I am a licensed road biker. So you can come tomorrow. We see whether we can both convert to racing. So just come. I will throw in a few of lessons as we convert. Please.
Road racer.
No, I only do on the road. My children are the ones who do the one for the track.
Yes.
But me and Hesbon, we relate.
We relate, Joe.
I ride a small 150cc bike. So it's like a Kanduthi.
And actually, one question I've just gotten it here from a fan before we end this interview. This guy is talking about the Dakar Rally. He's called Samson. Samson is like, please ask them, will we ever get to a point whereby we'll have a Kenyan representative doing the Dakar Rally from the motocross perspective?
Yeah, I think this is very possible. Yes. In fact, we do have some riders who are representing Kenya at Roof of Africa. This is enduro. All right. So it's not unimaginable that we would do it. I think all we need to do is manage the logistics.
Yes.
And with TVS, we know they already sponsored a lady out of India to participate in the Dakar Rally. And she did very well. I think she won her category. So we see that coming here. All we need to do is make sure we develop the talent.
But in January, when football fans are talking about transfer window, we want motocross fans to be like, Dakar Rally.
And actually, to hand on that, this year there is one of our riders, Atete Mbenzige. She participated in the FIM World Championship.
Oceania.
That was held in Australia. And she did very well.
That is good.
She and Talindi, she's they think 15 years now.
15 years.
And doing very well in the sport. So we've had guys who have gone all the way.
All the way. Now, in terms of getting you on your socials, how do we get you on your socials?
So we are on EMSC Instagram. It's our most active social. We do have the same name on YouTube. We also have the same name on TikTok. Those are the main active handles.
Those are the main active handles right there. So you know what, get to those handles right there and check out all the activities from the club and how you can join the club tomorrow. Come down Pale Jamhuri and let's have a good time from 8 a.m. all the way to about 4:30 p.m. When we come back, more sports.
Absolutely sensational. SportyFM, beyond